As Ghana moves towards a lower interest rate environment, the Bank of Ghana is warning that commercial banks may have to reduce their reliance on investing in central bank bills and rethink how they sustain their operations. The move, he explains, aims to ensure that banks remain resilient while boosting credit flow to the private sector of the economy. Here's more.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, said banks can no longer rely on BoG bills as a primary source of income due to falling returns. Speaking at the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana Policy Seminar, he urged them to adopt more sustainable business models and channel credit into productive sectors to support economic growth.
We are transitioning into a low-interest environment. Low-interest environment. What does that mean for commercial banks? What it means is you will no longer be putting your money in Bank of Ghana bills and earning high returns. How are you going to sustain your operations? You have very high NPL ratios. A number of banks have issues with credit risk. So do we wait until January when we are there before we see banks struggling? Banks have to start assessing themselves, especially their credit infrastructure. We have to get ready. A time is coming and coming soon. It's just a couple of months away, where banks have to do real banking, where you have to really go and do the loans, do the credit. And that's really where the work is going to be. We will soon come up with a notice on credit risk for banks.
CEO of the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, Robert Jato, also called on banks to strengthen their capacity to manage risk as the BoG prepares to roll out new credit risk guidelines.
I think the starting point really is developing the necessary competencies in managing risk. And that's very, very important because the business of banking is actually risk management wrapped up in customer centricity and some innovative solutions. And therefore, understanding the risk that banks face within the economic context, within the industry context, will be very, very important. But building capacity and building competencies will be very, very important. In my view, from the Institute's perspective, it will be building character, which is the ethics of bankers and banks, but also the competence, which is the competence, the ability for banks and the skill set that they require to develop to be able to assess those credit risks in a proper manner.
The Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana Policy Seminar Roundtable Discussion Post-MPC was under the theme Monetary Policy in Action, How MPC Decisions Shape Ghana's Economy and Financial Sector.